Hi, my name is Daniel. Today, I wanted to take time to talk about one of our ancillary features available on the SetSchedule application, the Research Center. The Research Center is an awesome tool provided to you for business development opportunities where you can actually search both prospects as well as properties for ancillary information available online. Basically, you could think of it as an online hub. Think of it as running a general web search. It's going to aggregate all the information available online and present it to you in a single, simple UI. And the Research Center is actually a really cool tool that I think most people don't really understand how to utilize. Again, with online web searches, you get a lot of information, and obviously we have to filter the wrong and the right? The good and the bad, as we call it. The Research Center is going to do the same. If someone is purposefully feeding incorrect information online, yes, it's going to aggregate that information to our platform, unfortunately, right? But the beauty about it is it allows you additional opportunities to connect with the home shopper, right? So let's say you're trying to connect it with the home shopper and you got their email from us, or you didn't get it from us, regardless. And you've sent 4 or 5 emails and unfortunately they're not responding, right? You have your old email address that you don't use and you don't utilize, and you use that for random, online websites that you don't necessarily want to give out your personal, because you're probably not completely comfortable with that web portal yet, and you're just wanting to get the information and giving them a random email address, right? An old email address. So that's where that Research Center could come into play. You can look up phone numbers, you can look up emails, you can look up a name. Again, if you're looking up a John Doe, what are the chances you're going to find the right John Doe, right? But if you're a little bit more specific in the name, with the address, if you already have an email address or a phone number, but again, you got to filter through the good and the bad, right? That also translates to their Facebook and social media. That's one of the most important and biggest tools that you can utilize off the Research Center. Being able to connect with someone through their Facebook, finding LinkedIn, and finding, ways that you can actually connect, whether you guys went to the same college and provide a half point off discount on their commissions, or you just simply find out that they love golfing and you're also an avid golfer. It's just ways for you to connect. Check their Facebook, check their LinkedIn, their Twitters, their Instagrams. Just spend a couple minutes before you try to connect with a home shopper just to get to know them on a very surface-based level. That's going to give you something that's going to differentiate you from the 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or whatever number of other agents that probably have called them, reached out to them and said, hey, let's sign a listing agreement and let's go, right? That's not how this works. So spend the time, get to know your prospect, just learn something new about them and find a way to connect with them through the Research Center prior to giving them a call. There's also the opportunity for you to look at associates. Maybe you find a wife, maybe you find a husband or a brother or a sister or a friend, and you're able to look them up and maybe find their information as well and kind of work the way through if you can't connect with your leads. As real estate agents in a sales process, it's very important that we try to connect with our prospective clients as much as we possibly can. And sometimes you got to go through a family member. There's also the Research Center as far as the home property search, right? You could actually find properties and search properties and receive estimated budgets from 4 different vendors. Okay. The beauty about that is it's going to give you a little bit of an understanding of the property details. Now, again, whether you got the lead from us or not, many of our leads that come from the SetSchedule referral radar provide you with an address that prospective client has shown interest in. Now, for me, that's great. Not because I want to know particularly that address, but because taking that address and plugging it into the Research Center will provide me with the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, territory, estimated budget. And I could take all that information and search other properties available on the MLS. And I could take all that information and present it to a home shopper, right? To a prospective interest. Basically, the goal is that by you better understanding the property detail information, you could start to search and find the type of property that home prospective client is probably interested in. That is probably far more impactful information than the simple, I want to look at 123 Sell My Property Street, right? And I know you're interested in 123 Sell My Property Street. By starting the conversation because you looked at 123 Property Street being a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 1,500 square foot in Irvine, California, is a better way of getting your foot into the door when you explain that they're probably most likely interested in a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 1,500 square foot property in Irvine. Then again, I know you went to Zillow and looked up 123 Sell My Property Street. So these are just some ways that you can utilize the Research Center. Now, some tips and tricks. When it comes for the targeted data records that you can consume off the referral radar, those are phenomenal to utilize in the Research Center. Those don't come with a phone number or an email. They simply come with a name and a property address and some mortgage information. You could take that information, plug it into the research center, and find ancillary ways to connect with them. Email, phone number, put them in a drip campaign, call them, outside of your single one-on-one digital marketing that you should be doing with those targeted data records. Again, my name is Daniel. Thank you for spending the time to talk about the Research Center. One quick disclaimer. As a starter user, you are limited to the number of times you're allowed to use the Research Center. In the app, you can actually click on Go Pro, and one of our territory managers will reach out to you to teach you on how you can utilize the Research Center and all of the other ancillary features available on the SetSchedule app. Thanks for your time, and we'll see you online.